Hey everybody, what is going on? Fallout here with all your Destiny 2 God roll needs. And apparently, a whole lot of you want me to cover the one, the only, Edge Transit. The launcher I'm sure that all of you have at least found a dozen of while on the path to 600 light. Well, because you probably have a few, why not try and figure out what the God roll might be? And today we're going over the PvP God roll for the Edge Transit, not the PvE roll. Yes, there actually is a difference between the two. And I gotta tell you, the Edge Transit with a good roll, actually not bad in PvP. I really happen to love the Chaperone, and since I can't throw on an exotic power weapon, a well-rolled grenade launcher can do a pretty good job of cleaning up. Not to mention that in the land of PvE, cluster bomb rockets, the sleeper simulant, the whisper of the worm, the tractor cannon are pretty much in firm control of the power weapon meta. You'd have to be a really silly dude to roll in with an Edge Transit. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at the PvP roll. And with that, let's go ahead and get started by taking a look at every possible perk that can drop on the Edge Transit, and as tradition dictates, we will start all the way over on the far right in column 4. We have 4 options here, but, and you're gonna laugh about this, in terms of using this weapon in PvP, there is actually only one option here. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go on down the line. Genesis, not something we want on our PvP Edge Transit because the perk doesn't actually work in PvP. That's a perk more designed for PvE usage, and even more so for elemental weapons. Next we have Ambitious Assassin. Now, technically, this can work in PvP, but 99 times out of 100, this perk is going to do nothing for you. On a grenade launcher, that is. You see, in order for Ambitious Assassin to work on a power weapon in Crucible, you have to first pick up at least 2 different power ammo bricks. Reason being is that the perk only activates if you A, get a bunch of rapid kills, and then B, reload your weapon, which on a power weapon you usually can't do because you don't have enough ammo. So on the condition that you actually pick up enough ammo in order to reload your gun, you could, quote, overflow your mag by adding another grenade into the tube when you reload it, but that doesn't really make any kind of difference. You're still holding on to the same amount of overall ammo, you just have one extra nade in the tube, so from a PvP standpoint, who kinda cares? Waste of a perk, if you ask me. Now I probably know what you're thinking. Oh look, the next perk is Rampage. Well, we all know what old Fallout is gonna recommend. Guess what? We do not want Rampage on our PvP grenade launcher. And do you know why? It's because on grenade launchers in PvP, Rampage does nothing. I don't mean it's not very helpful. I mean it literally does nothing. No matter how many Rampage stacks you manage to pile up, your grenade launcher's damage is permanently tied to its blast radius. Don't believe me? A, how dare you? And B, go into a private match, see for yourself. Rampage doesn't help out your splash damage, your direct damage, any kind of damage. So yeah, definitely not something that you want on a PvP God roll. And with that said, the winner in column 4, by default, is Quick Draw. While definitely not a bad perk, I was hoping for one with a little more panache. Look on the bright side, with Quick Draw you can switch to and from your Edge Transit a little quicker, which is always appreciated. On to column 3, and let's begin, once again, by weeding out what we don't want. Starting with Field Prep. While extra ammo reserves is fun and helpful in PvP, this does not come into play at all in PvP. And as for the benefits you get while crouching, the average player isn't crab walking around the map in PvP with a grenade launcher. Next, auto-loading holster. Auto-reloading your weapon when not in use is pretty handy. Remember that picking up one ammo box won't even give you enough shots to reload your launcher anyway, so this is kind of a perk you'd never see the benefit from. And then we have Snapshot Sight. Can somebody please explain to me why this perk is even an option on a grenade launcher? Snapshot is something you want on a precision weapon where you ADS quickly and frequently. Are there actually any guardians out there trying to get grenade launcher quickscopes for the worst PvP montage of all time? Most people I know, myself included, fire grenade launchers from the hip. It's totally accurate, totally reliable, and you don't waste any frames or time by ADSing. And for the last one, it's sort of up to you, but I can tell you that personally, I don't really see the value on rangefinder on a grenade launcher. For two reasons. One, I shoot from the hip with launchers in PvP, like I already mentioned, and two, if you've seen my other video called Blast Radius versus Velocity, link in the top right corner for those who want to watch, rangefinder on grenade launchers, from what I've seen anyway, is a minimal benefit. It barely helps your velocity at all, and it's more helpful over long ranges, and in PvP, most grenade launcher fighting happens from the hip at mid to close range. So for me, the winner, kinda also by default, is Threat Detector. Back in the days of no radar competitive, Threat Detector was a force to be reckoned with. Now it still helps, but it's not really as good. The good news for grenade launchers is that when switching to a grenade launcher with Threat Detector while enemies are nearby, the extra handling will kick in right away. And when it does, you're actually able to fire your grenade launcher faster right out of the weapon swap. So not a bad perk, but kind of, again, wishing we had some better options here in column 3 and column 4 for PvP. And now for column 2. Finally, an easy answer. Actually, this is going to be the easiest answer I give you today. Oh yeah, even with all the options listed here, it's going to be proximity grenades. Are you sure? Don't you want to go over all the other options? Nope. Proximity grenades. Look, in PvP, your goal is to get kills. Proximity detonation has been the go-to option on all things explosive since grenades and horseshoes in D1. Without proximity detonation, grenades will have to almost directly hit your target dead on. Even close shots will fly right by your target without exploding, meaning you'd have to rely on hitting the ground to damage them and hit them with splash damage. That's not what you want. Proximity grenades means that even if your grenade is remotely near an enemy, it will detonate and explode. Killing becomes that much easier. Trust me, you can go through all these other ones if you want, but for straight up kill power in PvP, it is proximity grenades 100%. Well, I'll give a quick shout out to sticky grenades, which is incredibly situational, but very trolly, and it can be fun. If you want to be a jackass, you can shoot one on a power ammo brick, or on a territory in control, or on a bomb zone in countdown. It's a fun little perk, but unfortunately the duration of the sticky grenade isn't as long as I'd like it to be, so yeah, the winner is proximity grenades. Finally, on the far left, column 1. Any guesses on what we're looking for from here on out? Blast radius. Anything at all that can help out your blast radius. Again, from my blast radius versus velocity video, blast radius is priority number 1 on your drum-loaded grenade launcher. In PvP, on your launcher, blast radius is tied directly to damage. The higher the blast radius, the more damage you'll do. If you have a low blast radius, even proximity grenades will not be enough to save you. Sure, they'll detonate near your target, but they won't be strong enough to get the kill. Having a massive blast radius will ensure that the explosion is going to be strong enough to lock up that one-hit kill. With that in mind, we are looking for volatile launch, which gives you a whopping plus 15 to your overall blast radius. Others can help blast radius too, but not as much as volatile launch. On that note, your masterwork perk. Do I even need to say it? Blast radius. Lately, people have been tweeting at me a whole bunch, showing me pictures of weapons they've gotten, which I kinda like, and asking me, hey, what do you think about this roll? And so frequently do people forget about the importance of a good masterwork perk. It really can make your gun all that much better. So if you tweet me a picture of your grenade launcher and it has anything but blast radius right there in the masterwork, I'm going to reply with the same thing. Garbage. And let's review. What is our masterwork? PvP, Edge Transit Grenade Launcher, Volatile Launch, Proximity Grenades, Threat Detector, Quick Draw, and a Blast Radius Masterwork. Although, if I'm being honest, as long as you have the big 3, volatile, proximity, and blast radius masterwork, I would consider it a god roll. For the edge transit, column 3 and column 4 for PvP almost borders on joke territory. Which reminds me, Bungie, please give us more perk variety on PvP drum-loaded grenade launchers. There's so many perks that just do nothing for PvP. Hashtag buff Rampage. Anyway, if you have a suggestion for what weapon you'd like to see the god roll on, hit me with it down in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We are getting closer and closer to 100k, and I would love to break that very big milestone. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. See you next time.